You suffer from the old American itch. You want to get somewhere fast, but you don't want to pay for the ride. This sounds like the kind of thing that John Garfield might have said to Lana Turner in the original version of A Postman Always Rings Twice. But no, it was actually said by Oscar Levant to John Garfield in one of my all-time favorite melodramas, Humoresque, with Joan Crawford at her most imperious. John Garfield was actually born Jacob Julius Garfield in the Lower East Side of New York, the son of Russian Jewish immigrants, and he was supposed to play Stanley Kowalski in A Streetcar Named Desire on Broadway and Terry in On the Waterfront. Of course, both roles went to Brando, and Brando's career was secured after that. It didn't hurt, of course, that he also made The Godfather some years later. Garfield was famous for Gentleman's Agreement, Postman, and Body and Soul, among others, and he died at a girlfriend's house at the tender age of 39, long before Brando, James Dean, Monty Clift, and so on. There was Garfield, who was a Russian-trained American actor bringing this new kind of emotional realism to the screen. When he died, the funeral was crazier than Valentino's, zillions of fans. Well, a few years ago, I was in Venice, and an Italian actor friend of mine said, "Hey, Julie Garfield," who is John Garfield's daughter, who didn't have a huge career but was in Martin Scorsese's Goodfellas, she's doing an acting class, and would you like to join her? He had invited her to do that. He actually brought her over from New York to do this acting class for Italian students. And I said, well, try and keep me away. The class was held in the dungeon in the Doge's palace, right above the Bridge of Sighs, famously named because that's where the condemned went to cross over to the Piazzetta where they were executed. Anyway, Julie was what you would expect, a New York Jewish girl. She was Streisand without the perfect pitch. She was noisy and so on, and she was trying to do something that just wouldn't work. She wanted these molto gentile, these very kind and sweet Italian young actors to become New Yorkers and scream and yell and carry on. It didn't really work. But in any event, it was fun, and I invited her to join me for dinner. And I had no intention of asking her anything about her father. I just thought she was an interesting person. And right in the middle of our mixed seafood grill, she blurted out, well, do you want to know if my father was actually died in the arms of his lover and they had to separate him after rigor mortis and other things set in? No, I didn't really. Well, pickle. The children of the rich and famous have a real heavy road to travel. The shadow of that parent almost always casts a huge umbra over them, and they're always torn between saying, don't ever ask me about my father or mother, and then blurting out all this drivel.